everyone, in today's video I'm going to show you how to change the rear diff fluid in your BMW M3 or the M4, although this procedure is very similar across the whole BMW lineup. And these are the tools and supplies needed for this job. You're going to need something to drain the fluid into. You're going to need the actual fluid, a fluid transfer pump, a 14mm hex tool, fill and drain plugs, a breaker bar with an extension, and of course a torque wrench to torque everything to spec. The actual car needs to be driven for about 5 minutes to warm up the fluid, so I took it around the block a couple of times, and then you have to raise it, but it needs to be leveled. So in my case, I jacked it up on these ramps in the back, and I'm using my awesome jack stands to support the front. And underneath, obviously, I also have a jack backing me up just in case one of these components fails. The procedure is actually quite simple. So here, check this out. Going underneath the car, we are sliding underneath. What you want to do is you want to locate the rear diff, and here you've got the filler plug as well as the drain plug. Now, the first thing you want to do is you want to undo the filler plug. Why? Well, if you drain the fluid and for some reason you cannot undo the fill plug, then you're in trouble. So it's always a good idea to undo the fill plug first and then do the actual drain. Okay, to remember, lefty loosey, righty tighty. There you go, this was fairly easy. We can undo this by hand, but not completely. By the way, invest in a breaker bar. It made the job so easy. Oh yes, that's what I get for getting distracted. Oh boy. And we could let it drip all day long, but once the dripping sort of slows down, wipe the area and put the new plug in and torque it to 60 pound-feet of torque. Next, we take our fluid transfer pump, stick it in the bottle, and we stick it in the actual hole. Again, just make sure it's clean. You stick it in the fill hole, and the idea is to pump 1.5 bottles of this fluid. So you simply just pump, and once you fill in 1.5 bottles, the fluid will escape through the fill hole, after which we're going to close it and enjoy the new fluid. And as you can see, we're nearing completion because the fluid appears to be escaping through the fill hole. So I'm going to pump as much as I can and then simply remove the tube and plug it. There we go. Last, you just wipe off the area to prevent any excess smelling. You will get a bit of smell towards the end, but it's nothing to be crazy about. The smell will disappear after a few minutes of driving, but this is essentially it. Then we slide out from underneath the car, take all of the stuff out. By the way, look how rusty this is. This is the OEM exhaust, and it's pretty rusty after a few winters. Not to worry, we will not have this exhaust for much longer. Hint, hint. Anyways, let's clean up and conclude this video. And we're done. I told you this was pretty straightforward. If you're interested, these are the original plugs. I decided to replace them only because you change the fluid every 1,200 miles at first, and then every 5th oil change, so technically every 50,000 miles. I can't afford to replace 2 little plugs every 50,000 miles. Even though I'm at 30,000 miles, I feel like this will make my car feel better, and now you know how to do this if you're interested in doing so. Everything I used today, I'll link down in the description, but as always, let me know if you have any questions or comments. I'll answer every single one of them. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye. And these are the tools we're going to be, and these are the tools and supplies we're going to be using. And these are the tools and supplies we're going to be using today, starting with something to evacuate the fluid. And these are the tools and supplies we're going to be using today, starting with